Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another banger of a video, and today we are going to be analyzing Clash in Paris. Now, I have no script for this. All I have is the card here, and this is going to be straight off of my mind. I just watched pay-per-view. Overall, it was a pretty fun pay-per-view to watch, and I keep saying pay-per-view even though it's a PLE. I'm still going to call it a pay-per-view. It was a pretty fun pay-per-view overall. I had a lot of fun watching it, and that might just be biased because I watched it with my friend and we were laughing the whole time. Not because of it, because we were cracking jokes and whatnot. But it was a fun PLE. And some of the matches were good, some of the matches were okay, and I wanted to analyze all of them and talk about the outcomes of the matches and how WWE could go on after this. So, without further ado, let's dive into it. So the first match on the card was Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. And to recap, Roman Reigns won this match. Fantastic match. A fantastic match overall. But to me, I think the match was a little slow. It was a little slow. Now, I know that Roman Reigns matches can be slow, but at a certain point, when it comes to these matches, you have to keep the audience engaged. Obviously, the people there are going to be engaged because they're forced to be there. They're not forced to be there, but they're already at the venue. They paid money to be there. They're not going to leave and turn off the TV. But the viewers at home, they're going to get a little bit... they're not going to be as engaged as the people there. Because mainly the experience from home is different from being there, and I would know because I've done both. And watching that match from home kind of felt like I was just watching a Goldberg match. And I don't mind Goldberg, but he does a lot of grapples, he does a lot of taunting, and that was exactly what this match was. And I think that could have been a lot better because these two competitors are very good for each other. Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed are two superstars that have a lot of that do have chemistry together. They don't have the most amount of chemistry that Roman Reigns has ever had with someone in the ring, but they do have chemistry, and I think that they could have done a lot more with the beginning and middle of this match. The ending was fine. The ending was good. The ending kept me engaged, but the middle and the beginning kind of got me a little lost because honestly, it just wasn't as engaging. I know I'm using the term engaging a lot, but that's just what I'm going to use to describe it, and the only way to really describe it. But I'm fine with the outcome. Now let me talk about the outcome. Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. Roman Reigns won this matchup. Now, I honestly thought that Bronson Reed was going to win this match, and here's why I thought Bronson Reed was going to win. Was because Roman Reigns won at SummerSlam. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso won at SummerSlam, and that was going to be the one time that they put Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker down, and they kind of buried this vision a little bit that Seth Rollins has. But I was surprised that Roman Reigns won this matchup. Which, I'm not mad about it. I love Roman Reigns. He is my tribal chief, and I acknowledge him. But I thought he was going to lose this match. Now, where can this go for Roman Reigns? Is Roman Reigns done with the vision? No, because after the matchup, Roman Reigns got attacked by Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed and was sent to the hospital. Yeah, I kind of forgot to mention that. Roman Reigns is not done with the vision. In fact, Roman Reigns will probably be facing Braun Breaker at WrestlePalooza on September 20th on ESPN as the first match there. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. And I know that's going to be a good match because Braun Breaker and Roman Reigns, I know that they have chemistry together. Braun Breaker is a young person, same finisher as Roman Reigns, and has a very similar moveset to Roman Reigns. And I could see how Roman Reigns could be a role model for Braun Breaker outside of the ring. I could totally see that. And I could see, and their styles are so similar. And I know that they have a lot of chemistry, and I could see Roman Reigns facing Braun Breaker at WrestlePalooza. It's very plausible. And then after that, then he might be done with the vision. But if he's not done with the vision after he faces Braun Breaker, let's just say what I'm saying is true, then he would go on to face Seth Rollins. But I find that highly unlikely because Roman Reigns already faced Seth Rollins in the main event of WrestleMania 41. So I think after this, Roman Reigns is going to go on and face Braun Breaker at WrestlePalooza, and then be done with the vision, and then return back to SmackDown. And then kind of just linger there for a little bit and see what the competition's got there. Now, what does this mean for Bronson Reed? This means absolutely nothing for Bronson Reed because this loss didn't affect him. The loss itself didn't, because after the match, he again proved that he is the man, even though he lost the match. Now, this isn't burying Bronson Reed at all. I mean, Bronson Reed was very dominant. He was very dominant in this match. It wasn't like Roman Reigns was dominating Bronson the whole time. Bronson was dominating most of this match, and especially after the match, it was booked so that Bronson Reed came out the top dog. So this match doesn't really mean anything in regards to booking to Bronson Reed, because Bronson Reed is still going to go on, and he's still going to elevate the vision that they have with Seth Rollins, and it doesn't really mean anything. But recap of what I just said, Bronson Reed doesn't really mean anything for him. He's still at the top of his game. Roman Reigns, I think he's going to go on to face Braun Breaker at WrestlePalooza. The next match on the card was a tag team championship match between the Wyatt Six versus the Street Profits. Now, the Wyatt Six ultimately won this match, and I am not shocked that they won this match. Okay, so here's how it happened. They won because, of course, the Wyatt Six, they're the heels in this scenario, so they cheated. Nikki Bella came out from under the ring and kind of pulled on Montez's foot, I think, or Angelo Dawkins' foot, and kind of cost them a distraction. And then the Wyatt Six won, which I'm honestly fine with it. I think that the Street Profits had their last hurrah as champions, and the Wyatt Six deserve to be put on top. Although I would like to see the Wyatt Six win clean without cheating, because we're already seeing with so many different factions that they would win while cheating. We're seeing this with the Vision, we're seeing this with the MFTs, and now we're seeing it with the Wyatt Six and so many other factions, and not just factions but other superstars. We're seeing this everywhere in WWE right now, and I think it's time, if you're going to separate the Wyatt Six from the other tag teams or the other factions, then you're going to want to have them maybe win clean, or maybe kind of have them in the mix of both baby faces and heels, because the fans are behind them. Most of the fans are. I mean, when you go out to Europe and you go out to Paris, the fans are gonna be behind the stereotypical people. They're gonna be behind, but which is fine. But when you start making your way back to the U.S., for some reason these U.S. crowds are honestly kind of a mixed bag, because you go to Georgia and they're cheering for Cody Rhodes. You go to California and they're cheering for John Cena when that feud was happening. But besides that, I'm fine with the Wyatt Six winning this. Now, what could this mean for the Wyatt Six? Doesn't really mean too much. Doesn't mean too much, although it is establishing them as the top people on the tag team division. And what I think this win could do is this could finally end this feud between all the different tag teams. We've seen at SummerSlam, we've seen on SmackDown, all these different tag teams just going at each other. They had this awesome match at SummerSlam, which I was there for. They had this awesome match there. They had awesome TLC matches. It was an awesome feud, but at the end of the day, it is just a feud, and it should end. So I think that this match probably ended that. Now, what does this mean for the Street Profits? The Street Profits, this should go like this. I think that the Street Profits are going to swim. I'm guessing they're going to swim in the mid-card for a little bit, not have a title picture. And then I think next year, as WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, and Elimination Chamber are approaching, then they're going to be back in the title picture. This loss, I think, was detrimental to them. I think that this kind of really lowered them from being the top dogs that they were as the tag team champions to really dropping them down back to the mid-card again and facing teams, I don't know, like Pretty Deadly and DIY and probably Motor City Machine Guns now. But this loss was pretty influential for the Street Profits, but not as much for the Wyatt Six. And it was a great match overall, but it didn't have a ton of impact. I think I could have had more impact by having maybe a different faction get involved. I think this could have had a lot bigger of an impact if you had a different faction get involved and try to cost the Wyatt Six, but then also have the Wyatt Six win. Like, maybe give Carmelo Hayes and The Miz, put them out there and have them not cost, but try to cost the Wyatt Six. and then set up that match for WrestlePalooza, and then have Carmelo Hayes and The Miz win the championships. But yeah, not much for that one. The next match on the card was a match between, was an Intercontinental Championship match between Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella, and Becky Lynch won this match. I'm just gonna keep it short and concise. This match didn't mean anything, really, for either of them. Becky Lynch has already established herself as a heel. Becky Lynch doesn't need to prove herself anymore. Nikki Bella certainly doesn't need to prove herself anymore, because Nikki Bella's already in the Hall of Fame. And speaking of how she's already in the Hall of Fame, I don't really think she needs to have Intercontinental Championship matches. Nikki Bella has already established herself as this really fierce competitor back in the 2010s, back in the 2000s. She was really dominating. I mean, that rack attack, she hit that so many times that her neck started to deteriorate. That's a fact that you should look up, and I'm not joking, that's a real thing. But they both established themselves as fierce competitors, and this match was honestly kind of pointless, although it was fun to watch, but it was pointless. Becky Lynch winning was the right call. Nikki Bella should not have the championship right now. We need to put other talent over, although Becky Lynch has been over for a long time, but Nikki Bella has also been around for like 15 years. Maybe not 15 years, I'm not sure. But Nikki Bella has been around for a while, and she doesn't need the Intercontinental Championship because she's already solidified herself literally in the Hall of Fame. So this match doesn't really matter at all. And it's no disrespect to Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella. It's just this match doesn't really matter all too much, and I'm fine with the ending. I'm actually happy with the ending. I'm glad that Becky Lynch was able to retain. But yeah, not much going on there. The fourth match on the card was a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match between Sheamus and Rusev. Now, Donnybrook, in this context, it means that it is an Extreme Rules match. No holds barred, no disqualifications. You can do whatever the heck you want to do. And Rusev came out victorious on this one. Now, I want to talk about what I think of that ending. I think that Rusev should have won that match. Although I'm not the biggest fan of Rusev, I never really have been. That was the right call because Sheamus has been around for a long time. He's been on the roster, while Rusev hasn't been on the roster. And it was a good call because they've kind of been burying Rusev. They've been putting him, although he's been winning, they've been putting him in feuds with the Alpha Academy. Seriously? They're literally putting him in matches against Akira Tozawa. That was like his first match. I think it was his first match. Maybe. I forget. But that was like his first match, which is ridiculous. And that really isn't establishing him as a fierce competitor, which that's also no disrespect to Akira Tozawa, because I really respect Akira Tozawa. He's an underdog. I could seriously see him becoming Intercontinental Champion one day, but then getting it taken away really fast. But I could see him being Intercontinental Champion for a little bit because I respect him a lot. But I'm fine with Rusev winning this match because Sheamus has been around for a while. He's been put over multiple times. Rusev has not. I mean, Rusev had this whole phase where, it was Rusev Day and whatnot. It was okay, but at the end of the day, it wasn't anything substantial. And I'm glad that Rusev won this match. They're finally putting him over a little bit. But I also love Sheamus. And this match was fantastic. Me and my friend, we were sitting on that couch just in there. We had a lot of fun watching this match, and I'm really glad that was a good match because they were really hyping it up. They had a bar there and everything. Sheamus came crashing through the bar. But then also Sheamus delivered a suplex to Rusev off 4 stacked up barrels into 2 tables, which is crazy to witness. But then Sheamus ultimately tapped out to the accolades of Rusev. Now, what can this mean for Sheamus? Sheamus is probably, again, going to just stay in the mid-card. He's not going to go anywhere high up anytime soon. And I think that was pretty... we all knew that. Sheamus is probably going to swim in the low card, which I wouldn't doubt that. Although I do think he's being underutilized a little bit. Sheamus has been around for a while, and he has had a bunch of runs in the past. Where can this go for Rusev? Rusev could probably go on to get a little push against maybe some higher up factions. I could see Rusev versus Aleister Black. I could see Rusev versus Damian Priest. But then after those couple matches happen, then he's going to fall back down into the mid-low card and become a jobber like he once was. But in summary, they're both going to drop down to the mid and low card soon, regardless of who won this match. But it was a very entertaining match overall. Second to last match on the card was a match between John Cena versus Logan Paul. Now, I don't really have any thoughts on this other than these. John Cena came out with the win on this one, which is fantastic. Give John Cena all the wins during his retirement tour. John Cena has been the face of this company, champion or not, for 23 years. And that's crazy. And this is the last couple matches. Definitely have him win this match. If he's going to lose one match in his farewell tour, have it be the last one. And please don't make it against Logan Paul. Please don't make him lose against Logan Paul. I'm not throwing shade at Logan Paul. I'm not the biggest fan of Logan Paul in general, like his person, the person Logan Paul, because of some stuff that stuff that's happened to him, that stuff that's been in the news in the past that he's done on YouTube. But, he's really good in the ring. Logan Paul is really good in the ring, and he honestly kind of belongs in WWE. He is a high-flying athlete. He's absolutely fantastic. But John Cena totally should have won this. John Cena is way out of Logan Paul's league, storyline or not. Now, where could this go for John Cena? It's not going to go anywhere for John Cena. This is his farewell tour. This farewell tour is going to keep happening, and John Cena is going to keep winning. But where can this go for Logan Paul? Now, Logan Paul's a tricky case because they really do keep pushing this guy regardless of whether he loses or wins. And honestly, because of Logan's match at SummerSlam and his fantastic performance, and because of his match here and his fantastic performance, Logan Paul's not going anywhere. He's going to swim in the high mid-card. That's where he's going to go. I don't see him being in a crazy WrestleMania main event anytime soon, but I definitely see him being high mid-card, maybe night one main event for pay-per-views. So this nothing's really going to happen for either of them. But Logan Paul, he's probably going to stay where he is or even get higher, even though he lost this match. And then the final match on the card was a World Heavyweight Championship match between Seth Rollins, CM Punk versus Jey Uso and LA Knight. Yeah, yeet, go to sleep, and whoa. What a crazy matchup. And as soon as I saw this booking, and as soon as I heard Adam Pearce say that they were going to be doing this, I said, clear the calendars for August 31st because this match is going to be a banger. And it was a banger. This match was a banger. It so delivered. Now, Seth Rollins did retain his championship, which I'm not surprised about. Of course, Seth Rollins was going to retain. None of those guys were going to win that championship in that match. Although I would have liked to see CM Punk or Jey Uso win. Jey Uso really had no place in the match. CM Punk and LA Knight did. Jey Uso didn't really have a place in it. But Seth Rollins winning that match is the right call for right now. Although I think Seth Rollins maybe should lose the title at WrestleMania. So now I'm going to go through the list and kind of think about what's going to happen to each one of these superstars. Now, before I do that, I want to say how this match ended. CM Punk was about to deliver a second GTS to Seth Rollins, and he was holding Seth Rollins up. He was saying, go to sleep. And then a masked woman came in the ring and low-blowed CM Punk. This woman takes off her hood, takes off her mask, and it is Becky Lynch and her hot husband. Becky Lynch came up and low-blowed CM Punk and cost CM Punk this matchup. And of course, it's all legal because this is a fatal four-way match. Now, okay, so let's go through all the superstars and what it can mean. Seth Rollins, he's still going to be at the top of the game. Becky Lynch, still going to be at the top of the game. Him and his wife are both leaders of their division, which is crazy to think about. Becky Lynch technically isn't the leader of her division, but she's so dominant. She's so dominant, I think that Becky Lynch is more dominant than Tiffany Stratton. I think that Becky Lynch is more dominant than Naomi. Although I love Naomi, I think that Becky Lynch is more dominant. But they're both going to stay at the top. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch are both going to stay at the top. Nothing's going to happen to them. They're just going to keep getting major pushes. Now let's talk about CM Punk. What does this mean for CM Punk? CM Punk is probably going to disappear for a little bit, a short-term time, and then come back. Going against someone for something. I don't think he's going to get another title opportunity. Which also brings me to Jey Uso. Jey Uso's also probably not going to get another title opportunity right now. Which also brings me to LA Knight. He's also probably not going to get another title opportunity anytime soon. all three of the men are not going to get a title match for the World Heavyweight Championship anytime soon. Because if this was their last hurrah, and nothing's really going to happen to them, they are all either... The biggest thing that could happen with those three men is that they go into a feud with each other. Which I don't see happening because they did team up in the match. Although Jey Uso turned on CM Punk and super kicked him in the face, they did ultimately work together. Jey Uso with his yeet and LA Knight with his yeah. They had genuine chemistry. And what's gonna happen with all these guys? They're gonna swim. They're gonna just make their little promos, but they're not going to do much. The best thing that could happen with these guys is they go into a feud with each other, a respectful feud, like other feuds in the past, like Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. They respect each other, mentor versus student. That's what I think is going to happen. It's going to be a respectful feud. But, yeah, my total review of this pay-per-view. This pay-per-view didn't really have anything crazy to write home about. It really didn't. There were some great spots and everything, but nothing that happened on this pay-per-view is really going to propel any superstar. They didn't really put a superstar completely over. They had the predictable winners win, and they didn't really put anyone over. It wasn't surprising. They're not gonna push anyone new, and they're gonna keep doing what they want to keep doing because that is just what they're gonna do. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please smash like, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications so you never, ever, 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 ever miss another banger video. Until next time, peace.